Alright, in our last film, Where to Find Gold, we covered the Umpqua River out in Oregon, and people want more. So I've opened up my prospecting files. There'll be about 300 of these movies if I live long enough, of where I went, where I wanted to go, and developed a lot of information for those, where I was hired to go prospecting for others, all that kind of thing. One thing I don't cover is access. You're going to have to figure that out. These films have lasted far longer than I ever thought, or probably certainly the beginning subscribers ever thought. Some of them are over 20 years old when we first started putting them up pre-YouTube. Now, the most important 3 films, if you don't know what we're talking about here in the how-to, I've listed in the description, and that'll get you going. You can figure out the methods, why the gold is there, all that from those things. We're simply, in this series, we're going out to the sites where the stuff is. Today we're going to Gold Camp, New Mexico. This is a rich nugget area out of the nearest town, which was Hillsboro. Reports as high as over 6,000 pounds, troy pounds of gold taken out of this area. The reason? The entire area is underlain by hydrothermal springs, and you have a mass Kuroko deposit to the east near Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. What we're going to be looking for here, Gold Camp was a tent city. One of the things that the misconceptions are that tent cities were someplace they lived in for a couple of weeks. They lived in those things for years. Some of them never got out of the tent city mode. The thing about a tent city is it's movable. It can move to the area that we want to work. And as even today, the more people you have working, the more gold you're going to find, because they're overturning earth and uncovering stuff and moving on, that when the next rain comes, it'll wash whatever they missed, and all that stuff's just, it's just continually churning. We're primarily, the gold camps were on the mesas up above the washes. There's a couple of buildings out there. They appear to me to have been from the later day gold camp. People tend to zero in on those buildings as if that was it. That was far from it. I have spotted from my research what I consider could have been the outline of a tent city. They were lined up north and south, same as section lines for a farmer's field. You can fly simply navigating by north or south by simply looking down on the ground at the farmer's fields, because they're all lined up perfectly straight. And anytime on a satellite photo, you find straight lines, that's unnatural. That was man-made. So we'll look at that. Where you want to go is the intersection of Clark Road and Highway 152. All right, I'm going to overlay some historical data here. This is the same Clark Road, and you can see that as we go back in time into the 1800s, Wick's Gulch was thought to be right across the road, or to the north side of the road. See if I can get the road here. Here's the road again. Here's Wick's Gulch. And that's going to get you in the immediate area of Wick's Gulch. And I suspect Flapjack Gulch was off of Wick's. Now, it was in Flapjack Gulch around 1881 that the camp was attacked by Victorio. He was an Indian band leader, and this is not a treasure tale. This really happened. Um, and the camp, got a lot less fun to mine after that. So all that stuff kind of broke up, and they left the gold for you. Access. I'm going to show you what to look for, so no matter, in my time it was Bureau of Land Management land, and even then, as I've told you before, over 90% of the claims that you see on that Bureau of Land Management site are closed. They've gone back to the government long, long ago. The people died and it went back to the government. So what may appear to be totally claimed is actually totally open. If you see a claim marker, happen to see something out there, you need to go up to that marker, take the little paper out of the bottle or whatever, or if it's posted, read it. See if it's still an active claim. If it is, you just go around that to the areas I'm going to show you, and that's the upwelling of hydrothermal activity. And you're going to be right back into gold nuggets. This is a metal detecting site, okay? And that's the way you want to treat it. All right, now some of the best gold nuggets I ever found were perfectly round, $10 gold pieces. And you're going to find those up on the mesas where the gold camps were located. So anytime you find a place that you suspect was one of these tent cities, you want to hit that because they were living in tents. Your best chances are $10 Liberty Head. There were 10 million of those made in the time period that they were out there mining. A $5 Liberty, 12 million of those. A $2.50 Liberty, 12 million of those. And the ubiquitous $1 Liberty, 25 million of those. And anytime you score those, you've got numismatic value as well. And that can be, that's your best nugget of all when you find that ready to go from the get-go. Alright, this was just a quickie presentation, really kind of let you know what's coming up in the rest of the sites, but we're going to be going to this more and more, just showing you site after site after site that I either had or developed or whatever. I want to say a quick word about housekeeping issues. There's a on the site here, other people's sites. If there's somebody out there putting information out that you go to all the time, either download it or click their advertising button. There's an algorithmic computer now kind of in control of numbers, and I'm fine, I think, but there's other people out there on a certain bubble that might not be so fine, and they might disappear on you. So, and one day this site will disappear too, for another reason. But if they get about, I think it's an average of 3 cents a click, something like that. That's not that important, but keeping them on the air with their information is important. So, if you see some of these people out here who are struggling with, they're putting out good information, they don't have much viewership. Click an ad, get that in the computer so that they stay in front of you and produce more of this stuff. That's what you want. It benefits us all to have more information, not less, or the herky-jerky, goofy type stuff that YouTube seems to be going back to. Anyway, there you go. That's my views on things. That's the site. This week is the Gold Camp, Hillsboro, New Mexico region, range. Take a look at everything that you can out there. If you're going to go, I'd suggest, don't hop a jet to go to this place because you're going to have to develop it out. It's going to take some time, but it's going to be well worthwhile once you figure out the access issues and you bullseye some of those outcroppings like I've pointed out to you. The quartz outcrops is what you want to be centered around. Good luck with your prospecting.